Friends and followers, welcome back to my channel and to an episode of TalkZach where I need to talk about the root cause of the failure of something and how my lawsuit against its manufacturer ended up going. So, I'm still kind of working out the details on the latter, but I want to talk with you all about the former so that you don't make a mistake if you're a trucker who gets diagnosed with sleep apnea. Coming up, I will tell you about a brand that sucks. They may be famous for their shavers and their toothbrushes, but make no mistake, their CPAP machines are junk. And I'll tell you about another brand that I would recommend instead. So let's get started on this episode of TalkZach. Hey y'all, I'm Trucker Zach Bell, your mask-wearing host. And this is TalkZach, and I'm giving you all an update on how things turned out with that certain shaver and toothbrush manufacturer that also happens to make CPAP machines. You see the name? Philips? Yeah. So, I'm sorry I'm rubbing my eyes here because that deteriorated foam and stuff is like nasty. But let me explain what caused my machine to fail and why I went with a ResMed to replace it. Then we'll talk about the lawsuits stuff. So, upon bench testing, upon talking with Philips themselves, upon talking with the DME, and even trying a replacement foam kit from Amazon, I found this machine is defective. Big time. The motor cannot take a high heat, high humidity environment. The circuit boards fall apart when you drop the machine, even if it's in its case. It's not durable enough for the trucking environment where you got vibration, heat and humidity, and anything else like that going on. So I would strongly recommend, if you have a Philips brand machine and you're a trucker and the machine is affected by the recall, don't stop using it until you've talked with your doctor. And you need to determine a course of action from there. And that course of action could vary from doing what I did and change machine brands. I personally now use a ResMed AirSense 10 and love it. Or you could change the type of therapy you do. There's other techniques and technologies that are coming on the scene now. And there is a more durable CPAP model that's available out there. In fact, several. So, if Philips has decided to replace your machine with the DreamStation 2, one of my concerns about using that model in the truck is the way the little water chamber's set up. On the DS1, it's a fairly heavy base, and I could actually flip this open and fill the water without having to detach anything from the machine. The DS2 now makes you detach the water chamber and then break it apart. And that means less durability. Remember, this machine already failed in the trucking environment. Now we're bringing breakaway parts into the situation, which is even more likely to fail. I would strongly recommend that if you just got a DS2, be very careful with it when you're using it in the truck. Because it is smaller, it is lighter, and that makes it more prone to getting thrown around. And like I said, with that water chamber design, it's not great. Another thing to consider would be switching brands. If your machine's not covered by the recall, which mine isn't, obviously due to abuse, and we'll get more into the lawsuit in a minute here, then you will need to just buy a different machine. I would strongly recommend you look at ResMed, Fisher & Paykel, Brius Z2, and some of the others that are out there. And see if you can get your insurance to cover one of those. Tell them that your Philips machine is junk, that Philips does not make a quality product in terms of CPAP, and that they need to go to another brand. I would also strongly recommend that you be very cautious on how you set your machine up in the truck. In my truck, there's a dedicated nightstand that doubles as a refrigerator where I set my machine. And one of the problems I have with that is, it does not have hooks or anything to hold the machine down. So that the machine does not move out of place. And therefore, having non-slip feet, and maybe even having one of those CPAP mats like what Nico advertised on his channel, would be a good idea. It would also be a good idea for all CPAP manufacturers to consider going to a top fill water chamber. Something that's either got a nipple on it or that has a flip top lid that you can fill up without removing it from the machine. I know this is kind of going back in time for some of them, but this would make the use of the machine a whole lot easier. Finally, let's update the status of my lawsuit. My claim's been rejected, again because my machine was in a hostile environment. And therefore, I'm looking at other ways to get reimbursed on that purchase. I could use an extra $1,000 right now. Because if you looked at my last episode that I just uploaded this morning, that I'm due to a combination of having to buy a CPAP machine out of pocket and having my trips cut short due to inclement weather and poorly placed holidays, my paycheck has been hurting. So, and therefore I've gone into a personal financial crisis. I know tax refund season is around the corner. And I know that I am going to be getting one this year. The question is how much. And I really could use your help right now. So, help me support the channel and help me financially at the same time. Y'all can go on to TruckerZachsFanShop.com and order tees, tumblers, and tote bags today. You can also go on to ZacharyBell.smugmug.com and order prints from some of the rodeo practices I cover when that's in season. You can support me on Patreon as well. I do have that, and I am working on getting that built up. And one last thing. The subscriber challenge is on. I need 1,000 subscribers by the 1st of February, which is just a week away, and I've only got 51 right now. So do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss another future episode of either Trucking It, Buck Off, TalkZach, or anything else I produce for this channel. Y'all have yourself a great day. Let's make your best trip your next trip. Keep learning, keep thinking, and let's get through this together. Bye for now.